honestly, the investment that we made into the teacher project, we made back in the first 3 months. Yeah, thanks, Kyle. So my name's Sarah, and I've been a French teacher here in Southern Ontario in Canada for just over 20 years now. I've always kind of done some tutoring on the side. I've even taught piano on the side, lots of different things. Funny enough, most of the time when I was tutoring before the teacher project, it would mostly either be English or math, that kind of stuff. And so I would get like 5 or 6 students, right? And I would kind of, charge them an hourly rate and whatnot. And yeah, we were making about two, maybe $300 a month kind of thing doing that. And I just thought, there's got to be a little bit of a better way for me to not spend as much time at this and yet still make some money doing this. My family's really important to me and to James and obviously, and so we just wanted to find something. And yeah, Elliot's ad really caught my attention. Oh gosh, it was probably almost like a year and a half ago. And so I thought, I'll look into it a little bit and then let it go for a few months. But when we did finally jump in, we've actually kind of niched down into the French market. So originally we focused primarily on grades 4 to 6, which is about that kind of 9 to 11 or 12-year-old age. Since we've started, we've had to kind of open that up a little bit and say, no, we're more like elementary age now because we have everything from kindergarten. We have grade 11
Wow.
students. Like we have a little bit of everything in there. We even have an adult program going now too. So it's kind of been neat to see how it's grown based on, the demand and whatnot.
What was going through your head then, and what really pushed you to kind of go ahead and set up your first initial call?
I had taught English online for about 3 years for another company, and I watched somebody build out a different company, ESL again. And I thought, oh my word, that is just so much work. I don't know if I can do that right now. And so got into the funnel, obviously, and kept getting emails, but once a month, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Right. Every time you get them, you think, oh, there's that spark again. My husband and I had been talking for quite a while about the idea of going on the road as a family, of me
Mm.
taking some time off of work as a teacher, of pulling our son out of school and me maybe homeschooling him. And we have a motorhome and we wanted to travel. And but it was something that I thought, okay, maybe if this could help us achieve that because it is all online, and if I could get something going, maybe that's something that we could do down the road. So I booked the call. And I'm really, really glad that I did.
What was your feelings? What were you experiencing kind of emotionally just before you had jumped in?
Yeah, I think stuck is a really good word for it. Like I said, I'd been teaching for about 20 years at that point, and I'd done some different French programs here in Canada, taught different things here. But even my husband was starting to get kind of like, I've done my job for 25 years. I don't like, you just kind of get a little bit of an itch.
Yeah.
And that's why I was doing some tutoring also because coming out of COVID, everybody needed help academically,
Yeah.
right? And so I was almost overwhelmed with the demand. And I'm like, oh, but I'm having to find space at the library to meet. All that kind of thing. And I just thought if I could just do something online where, again, because I taught 3 years online. So I was kind of used to that as well. It didn't bother me to sit in front of
Mhm.
a screen like this and try and teach people. Where I'm really lacking is in I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to do the group thing.
Yeah.
So many parents think that one-on-one tutoring is better. Totally disagree now, especially when it comes to languages. Because you really need other people there to be able to hear what they're saying, and also to be able to converse with different people, have opportunities for different types of group settings, right? And have those authentic conversations. Anyways, but I digress. I was kind of like, okay, I feel like I'm maxed out. I really can't work any more hours after school because I'm still teaching full time. And it wasn't even necessarily about making more money per se. It was just, how can I replace what I'm doing and not have to work so much? Right.
Mm.
And honestly, I worked harder in this last year than I ever did before. But I also know that it's been setting the groundwork for what's to come.
And what really kind of stood out to you as something that really maybe helped you in this process out of everything that we have here?
Yeah. So I think two things that really helped me a lot, especially, it was just me at the beginning, was the community and the curriculum that was offered. Curriculum because it was offered in different modalities. So you could watch the videos or you could just download the document and kind of read through it yourself. And so I spent hours and hours listening to videos and kind of, pause and go back into my screen and
Mhm.
do things and whatnot. But it was so step by step. that it was so easy to do. And, if James had a question for me about, well, how did you do that? And I'd be like, oh, well, here, I found it in this video, right? And so it was easy to even share some of that information with him as he was watching me build this. And it was really, really valuable to be part of that, to realize that, okay, there's other people that have kind of jumped in around the same time as me. We're all going through the same thing, but those that are a few steps ahead are willing to come on and answer questions and help out. That was huge. And then, having the sense of moving forward. So, there's like reward systems and stuff like that. But it being so intentional that everything that's done in there is essentially a model for how we could build our own businesses
Mm.
and the ways to
Mhm.
do that. I was like, oh, they're living it out in real life. And I've always appreciated that as well about Elliot, where, anytime he's introduced something new, he's kind of gone back over everything and sort of been really transparent with us about, hey, this is what the teacher project has gone through. Here's where I've made my mistakes. Here's, what we've done to fix it, trying to help all of us avoid those same kinds of mistakes when we get to that point. So I'm like, oh, thank you so much, because trying to build a business from scratch, you make tons of mistakes.
So we went through the program. You and James were working super hard. What do you think is kind of one of those big milestones that maybe you hit that really started to kind of change your mind as to kind of what was possible here with your business and what you were getting here at the teacher project?
Well, I think one of the first milestones was being able to start my first group. Actually, I
Mm.
started last September, and I started with two groups because I had 9 students and I just thought, okay, I need to split them into two. That's too many and whatnot. So, little decisions like that you
Mhm.
have to make along the way. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had two groups going like right off the bat. And honestly, the investment that we made into the teacher project, we made back in the first 3 months. So that was sort of the first thing was, oh, this is really doable. This is actually working. We have groups. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then in the new year, or I guess in December, in the new year kind of thing, James started really seeing how it was taking off. And he's very administratively minded, and that's so not me. So he kind of jumped in, and it was like, okay, we can actually work on this as a couple. Because I don't know
Mhm.
if you've ever tried to build something with your spouse, whether it's a shed or whatever. But we've had our challenges working together, and I thought, oh, how's this going to work? But we've each kind of taken on a role that suits us, and we complement each other, which has been amazing. And we're up to about 45 students now, so we've doubled again in that spring session, right? So now we're kind of like, okay, I think we can really look ahead and sort of start to set ourselves up for, where do we want to go, how many people do we want to help? And that's always been our
Mhm.
thing. Like you talked about teachers wanting to help. My husband was in ministry for years as well, right? So he just loves to help people. And so that's kind of been our goal with this, is how do we help people?
Yeah, Sarah. I mean, when you kind of think about, so I said you said you had about 45 students. What do you think you guys have earned just in annual revenue since you guys started, about a year ago?
Oh my goodness. Kyle, you're asking me about numbers. Uh, um, like I said, I sat down. You'd be very proud of me. I did sit down and kind of look at my numbers from January to now,
Uh-huh.
and our highest grossing month was January with like $8,700 that month. So I would say, if we've been
Yeah.
at this, I would say we probably brought in about $50,000, because we've been at this about 10, 11 months now, and we're averaging 5,000 a month, right? So yeah, we've done
That is
pretty
awesome.
well.
Keep pushing on that. What are you most excited about, Sarah?
Ooh, well, my role has really become content development, right? So I design and create the programs essentially for these kids, and so I'm really excited about that. We've had some incredible success stories.
If you had, one or two gold nuggets or one or two like pieces of advice for somebody that might be sitting on the sidelines thinking, hey, I'm in the same spot that Sarah was in, what advice would you give them, if they're looking at kind of starting to start their own tutoring business or kind of make it on their own? What would you tell them?
I think timing is everything, and team is everything. So when I look at timing, you couldn't have asked me at a better time to do this interview, Kyle, because for most of us in North America, this is the end of the school year, end of June.
Mhm.
Well, I shouldn't say most, but in Canada anyways, right? Like this is the end of the school year. Um, that was part of the reason that I got started, was because I was like, I have some time. It's the summer. I am a teacher. I don't have something going on 9 to 5 right now. So this is the perfect time to jump in. So honestly, like if you're thinking about doing it, now is the time to do it right now. Like don't wait for your summer to get started and just go for it. I mean, you have so much time this summer. You have 8 weeks ahead of you, potentially 9 weeks, right? Before school starts up again. That is so much time to get started. In fact, it's almost too much. You could start something in the summer and start making income right away. And so timing and then team, don't try to do this on your own. Oh man, like yes, the resources are there in terms of the videos and that kind of thing for you to watch and access, but and that there is some stuff you are going to have to do on your own to get started. But once you're starting to go, like reach out because you don't have to do this on your own. Honestly, the expertise that you guys have brought to the table, oh man, it's been just unbelievable. Like really, really good. So just take advantage of everything when you join because yeah, it's all there for you.